Hey there! In today's video, we're going over the 2022-2023 TMSCA General Math Test number 1. Let's do it. Alright, which of the following is a factor of 3x squared minus 17x minus 28? Alright, this is actually very easy to solve. All we have to do is we have to solve for the magic cross. So to solve a quadratic equation like this, you need to do two things. First, you need to know what the values are. So this is your a value, the coefficient in front of this first term. This is your b value. This is the coefficient in front of your second term. And this is your c value. This is just your third term. Alright, using this, we can find our magic cross. So first, we need to multiply a and c. 3 times negative 28 is just negative 84. Next, we need to find the b value, which is negative 17. Alright, now we need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 84 but add to negative 17. So what are those two numbers? That's what we need to find out. Those two numbers are 4 and negative 21. Alright, now we can rewrite our quadratic equation as 3x squared minus, instead of using the negative 17x, we can write this as 3x squared minus 21x plus 4x, because even though this equals negative 17x in the long run, we can use this to solve the equation really easily. And then you have the minus 28. Alright, now you want to break up your equation into two parts. So first you have the 3x squared minus 21x and the 4x minus 28. Alright, let's take the first section. We have to find what is common between these two numbers. So this is the 3x, because 3x will go into both of these. So now inside the parentheses, you're left with x and negative 7. Next, over here, you can take out the 4, because 4 divided into this is just x minus 7. And the way you know if you did it right is if the number in this parentheses on both areas is the same. Alright, so now we know that x minus 7 is the first factor. Now we need to know what is the other factor. Well, we can take the two values we have here in front of the parentheses, 3x and positive 4. So now that becomes 3x plus 4. Now these are our two factors. So now we need to see which of them is an answer choice. So x minus 7 is not an answer choice, but a is 3x plus 4, and that's your answer. Next, which of the following is not an example of an exponential function? Alright, so how do you know if something is an exponential function? Well, the simple way to know is if the thing is put to the power of x. No matter what, if you look at this one, for example, a, right? This 3 is put to the power of x. If you look at the second one, this 5 times 2.8 is put to the power of x. So you just need to see which one is not put to the power of x. And in this case, that's c. F of x is equal to x to the power of 4. And that's your answer. Next, if 28 is equal to 2x divided by 3, then what is the value of x divided by 6? Alright, so first we need to solve for x. So if 2x divided by 3 is equal to 28, we need to solve for what x divided by 6 is. Alright, so first we need to get rid of the denominator. So we can multiply both sides of the equation by 3 to get 2x is equal to 84. Alright, now we just divide both sides by 2 to get rid of this coefficient. That gets us x is equal to 42. Alright, now we know what x is equal to. So now we can substitute this into x divided by 6 to solve. So that will become 42, 6, and that becomes 42 divided by 6. And that equals 7. And that's your answer. Next, how many distinct 3-digit numbers can be created from the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if no digit can be repeated? Alright, so the simple trick for this is you do the number of elements in the set factorial of that divided by 2. So that's pretty simple. There's 5 elements, so 5 factorial divided by 2. Well, what is a factorial? Well, a factorial is just you're multiplying the number by every number before it. So 5 factorial is just 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Alright, so we can solve this quickly. So 5 times 4, that's 20. 20 times 3, that's 60. 60 times 2, that's 120. And 120 times 1 is still 120. Alright, now we have 120 divided by 2. And that equals 60. And that's your answer. Next, 86 Fahrenheit equals how much in Celsius? Alright, so to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, there's a pretty simple formula. So first we take our number, 86, we subtract 32. It's a pretty specific number, I know, but that's how you have to solve it. 86 minus 32 is 54. Next, to convert this, you need to do 54 times 5 divided by 9. So first we can do times 5. 54 times 5 is 270. Now we can do the divide by 9. 270 divided by 9 is equal to 30. And that's your answer. Next, what is the solution to the system of equations 8x minus 10y equals 15 and y equals 4/5 of x minus 6? Alright, so first we need to make it so that these equations look the same. So first we have 8x minus 10y is equal to 15. Now the second equation, we can change it a bit to make it similar to the first one. So we can bring the y and the negative 6 to the opposite side to make it y equals 4/5 of x minus 6. Then you do the switching sides of these two, and it becomes 6 is equal to 4/5 of x minus y. Now it looks pretty similar to this one right here. And you can just switch the order now of both of these sides. So now this side over here, the bottom equation becomes 4/5 of x minus y is equal to 6. Alright, now we need to multiply the bottom equation by a certain amount to make it so that we can cancel out one of the variables. So let's multiply the bottom one by 10. That way we can cancel out the y. So that becomes 8x minus 10y is equal to 60. Alright, now here's a problem. We have the same equation, 8x minus 10y, but it's equal to two different numbers, which it shouldn't be possible because there's no value that it would be the same thing, but it would be two different numbers. Same equation, but two different numbers, not possible, meaning there is no solution possible for this to work. And that's your answer. Next, 4 over m plus 4 over 7m equals what? Alright, so we need to add both of these fractions. However, they don't have the same common denominator, meaning we cannot just straight up add them like that. So we have to multiply one of the fractions to make the denominator equal. So we can multiply the first fraction by 7. So 7 times 4 over m to make it 28 over 7m. Now the denominator is equal to 4 over 7m. So now you can add them easily. So that's 28 over 7m plus 4 over 7m. That equals 32 over 7m, and that's your answer. Next, what are the coordinates of the vertex of the graph of the quadratic equation 0 is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 3? Alright, it's very simple to solve this. You first need to do the axis of symmetry. So let me explain this a bit. So this is a quadratic equation. That means when you graph this on a graph, it creates a shape called a parabola, which kind of looks like a U. Now the thing about a parabola is it's symmetrical, meaning you can cut it down the middle and both sides will be the same. This line that you cut it down the middle by is called your axis of symmetry. And this point where it meets the axis of symmetry, that is called the vertex of the graph of the quadratic equation. Alright, that is what we're solving for. So first we need to find the axis of symmetry. The formula for that is negative b over 2a. So what is our a value? What is our b value? What is our c value? That is what we need to know. So our a value is the coefficient of the first term. So in this case, x squared, the coefficient of that is a. But there's nothing there, meaning it's just 1. Next, the b value is just the coefficient of the second term, which is negative 8x. So that means the coefficient is b negative 8. Next, c value, that is just the third term, which is 3. Alright, but we don't need the c value for this equation. We just need the b and a value. So we can substitute these values into our equation. So the negative of negative 8 over 2 times 1, which is just 2. So the negative of negative 8 is just positive 8, because negative and negative cancel out. So that becomes 8 over 2, which equals 4. Alright, now how do we solve for the y value? Because this where we got right here is our axis of symmetry, meaning it is the x value in our final coordinate equation. So that means we can write the 4 here. We're still looking for what goes here. So what we have to do for that is we have to substitute this 4 in for x in the quadratic equation. So that would make the quadratic equation 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 3. Now we can solve. 4 squared, that's 16. Negative 8 times 4, that's negative 32. Negative 32. Now we have the 3. So we add 3, and now we can simplify this. 16 minus 32, that is negative 16. Negative 16 plus 3, that is negative 13. So now that is your y value. You can put that right here to get 4, negative 13, and that's your answer. Next, moving only to the right and or down, how many pathways exist from point A to point B? Alright, this is a very confusing problem. So we have the instructions, we can only move to the right or down, and we have to go from point A to point B. Alright, so we have to go according to these lines. So the easy way to do this is you just have to see how many ways can you go up and how many ways can you go down. And from there, just go to every single point and see how much possible ways is there to get there. So first, 1. You can only get to this point one way because that's how you start. Next, how do you get to this point? You can only get here by going to the right, so 1. Next, how do you get to this point? You can only get here going down, so 1. Next, how do you get to this point? You can only still go here by going to the right because you can't go up or to the left, so 1. Next, how do you get to this point? You can only go to this point 2 ways because you can go here like this, or you can go here like this. Either way, there's 2 right here. How do you get to this point? Well, this is not in the bottom right, meaning we don't need this point. So we don't need to know it here. However, we do need to know how to get to this point. You can get to this point in 2 different ways. 1 or 2. So we can write 2 here. Now, when you have a box like this and you're solving for the bottom corner in that box, and you know what the other 2 corners are, you can just say that the other corner is those 2 added. So this is 4. And finally, we can do the same thing for this box. We need to know what is the way we can get here. And that is still 1 because you can only go to the right or down. So now we have 4 and 1, and if you remember from just earlier, we can add these 2 numbers to get the final number here, which is 5, and that's your answer. Next, what is the measure of the radius of the circle with the equation x plus 17 squared plus y plus 12 squared equals 24? Alright, right off the bat in this equation, we're just trying to find the radius. So none of this is actually necessary. We just need what this is. So in a circle equation, whatever the entire thing is equal to, that is the radius squared. So to find the radius, we just have to find the square root of this number, so 24. So now we can just do the square root of 24. But it's not that simple because the square root of 24 does not yield a perfect number. It is an irrational number, meaning we have to solve for the root. So we can first break down 24 into 4 and 6. That becomes the square root of 4 times 6. Now we know that the square root of 4 is just 2. So we can bring out this outside the root to make it 2 times the root of 6. And that's your answer. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.